Hello everyone, and welcome back to Super English Talks. I'm Jeannie, and I am absolutely thrilled that you're joining me today for what I promise will be a truly comprehensive and incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of English. Study tips for better learning. Now, whether you're just starting your English journey, or you've been learning for years and feel like you've hit a plateau, or perhaps you're looking for those advanced strategies to truly take your skills to the next level, this episode is for you. We're going to unpack a fantastic mix of strategies ranging from practical exercises and cutting-edge tech tools to the very psychology of how we learn, ensuring that by the end of this, you'll feel equipped and empowered to boost your English skills like never before. You know, the journey of learning a new language, especially one as widely spoken and as nuanced as English, can often feel like climbing a massive mountain. It's exciting, challenging, and sometimes, let's be honest, a little overwhelming. You might find yourself asking, where do I even begin? Or am I doing this right? Or even, why isn't this working as fast as I want it to? These are all completely normal questions, and I've been there too. We all have. That's why I've dedicated so much time to researching and synthesizing the most effective, research-backed, and practical tips that genuinely make a difference. We're not just going to scratch the surface. We're going deep into the mechanics of effective language acquisition. So let's get started on reshaping your English learning experience. Asterisk, Part 1. Foundations for Effective Learning 1. Of the foundational principles that truly jumps out when you look at successful language learners is the critical importance of setting achievable goals. This isn't just about vaguely saying, I want to be fluent. While fluency is a wonderful, ultimate aspiration, it's such a broad and overwhelming concept that it can often lead to discouragement because it feels perpetually out of reach. Instead, the most effective approach is to break down that enormous goal into smaller, more concrete, and manageable steps. Imagine your journey to fluency as a long road. You can't see the end from the beginning, but you can definitely see the next mile marker. Those mile markers are your achievable goals. For example, instead of, I want to speak English fluently, you might set a goal like, by the end of this month, I want to be able to understand my yoga instructor's full instructions without constantly checking my dictionary. Or, in 3 months, I aim to achieve a specific score on an English proficiency test, like an IELTS 6.5 or a TOEFL 90. Perhaps it's even simpler. This week, I will learn 20 new vocabulary words related to my job and use them in at least 3 sentences. These types of goals are powerful because they are smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You know exactly what you're working towards. You can track your progress, and celebrating these smaller victories along the way provides immense motivation to keep going. When you achieve that goal of understanding your yoga instructor, you feel a real sense of accomplishment, which fuels you for the next challenge. This granular approach transforms an overwhelming task into a series of manageable successes, building confidence and momentum. It's about building a ladder rung by rung, to reach that ultimate goal of fluency. Now, as much as we talk about setting goals and staying motivated, there's one significant obstacle that many, many learners face, and it's something that can really hold you back: the fear of making mistakes. This fear often looms like a big shadow over the entire learning process. We worry about sounding silly, about mispronouncing a word, about getting our grammar wrong, or about not being understood. And let me tell you, that's completely understandable. It's a very human reaction, and it's a fear that many, if not all, language learners share, even those who seem incredibly confident. But here's a crucial truth: even native speakers make mistakes. Seriously, when we're speaking quickly, or feeling a bit flustered, or just having a casual conversation, we stumble, we use filler words, we might even misspeak. The key, then, isn't to avoid mistakes, but to embrace them as an inevitable and essential part of the learning process. They are not setbacks, they are stepping stones to fluency. Every mistake is a piece of feedback, an opportunity to learn and adjust. The real trick is to find those low-stakes environments where you can practice and experiment without feeling overly self-conscious or judged. Think about where you can make those little slip-ups, those minor errors, and simply learn from them without feeling like the world is watching. What kind of places am I talking about? Well, consider using language learning apps where you can practice speaking in a relatively private setting, or engaging in online games where the focus is on fun, not perfect grammar. Singing along to English songs, even if you mumble some of the words, helps you get comfortable with the rhythm and sounds of the language without the pressure of direct conversation. Practicing in front of a mirror or recording yourself and listening back are also fantastic low-stakes ways to identify areas for improvement without any external pressure. The more you normalize making mistakes, the more you free yourself to truly experiment and push your boundaries. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress when it comes to language learning. So, let go of that fear, embrace the beautiful messiances of learning, and you'll find yourself progressing much faster. Asterisk, asterisk, part 2. Integrating English into your life. Another powerful theme that consistently emerges in successful study strategies is the concept of using what you learn immediately. It's that old adage, use it or lose it, and it couldn't be truer for language acquisition. You can absorb countless vocabulary words and grammar rules, but if you don't actively put them into practice, they'll simply fade away from your active memory. Our brains are designed to prioritize information that is frequently used, so the more you interact with English, the more it cements itself in your long-term memory. But how do you actually put this into practice on a regular basis? One super effective strategy, especially if you're someone who thrives on interaction, is to find a language partner. This could be someone who is also learning English, or even better, a native English speaker who is interested in learning your native language for a language exchange. If you're someone who thrives on structure, then enrolling in a course with regular interactive sessions can be incredibly beneficial. However, even more casual language exchanges, where you simply chat with someone online for an hour a week, can work absolute wonders for your fluency. Websites like HelloTalk, Tandem, or even Facebook groups dedicated to language exchange can connect you with people from all over the world who are eager to practice. The key here is to create opportunities to actually use the language in real-life settings. This means moving beyond just rote memorization and applying the words and grammar you've learned in actual conversations. Whether they're spoken or written, it makes the language real, dynamic, and purposeful. It forces you to retrieve information quickly, adapt to different conversational flows, and truly engage with the language, which is far more effective than simply reading or listening passively. The more you activate your knowledge, the stronger your neural pathways become. Building on that idea of active engagement, another immensely powerful approach is to weave English learning into activities you already genuinely enjoy. This is such a game changer because it stops English learning from feeling like a chore or an extra task you have to squeeze into your already busy schedule. Instead, it becomes a natural, enjoyable part of your life. Imagine you're a big cooking enthusiast. Instead of just following recipes in your native language, why not try out English language cookbooks? You'll learn culinary vocabulary, understand different techniques, and gain cultural insights, all while doing something you love. Or, if watching cooking shows is your thing, switch the audio to English, turn on English subtitles, and immerse yourself. If history is your passion, exploring documentaries in English could be a really cool and effective way to learn. Do you love gaming? Play games in English. Interact with English-speaking players. Are you into fashion? Follow English-speaking fashion bloggers and read their articles. Are you a sports fanatic? Listen to sports commentators in English. The possibilities are truly endless. When you integrate English into activities that you already love, it transforms the learning process. It stops feeling like work and becomes a natural extension of your hobbies and interests. It's like you're learning without even realizing it. Imagine you're following a complex recipe from an English cookbook, and suddenly you realize you're understanding all the nuances of the ingredients and techniques without even trying. That's a truly great feeling. A moment of profound realization that your English skills are naturally improving through authentic engagement. This approach taps into your intrinsic motivation, making the process sustainable and genuinely enjoyable, which, as we know, is crucial for long-term success.
Part 3. Optimizing your study habits now. A challenge I think we all face when learning a new language, or really any new skill, is simply finding the time to study. Life gets busy, schedules get packed, and suddenly, that dedicated English study hour feels impossible to fit in. Some resources recommend short bursts of practice, while others suggest longer, more intense study sessions. What are my thoughts on that? Well, it's a question a lot of people have, and the answer isn't always black and white. But research provides a very clear direction. Consistent, even short, bursts of study are overwhelmingly more effective than those infrequent, lengthy marathon sessions. It's about quality over quantity when it comes to study time. Think of it like building a habit. If you try to run a marathon every day, you'll quickly burn out. But if you commit to a brisk 15-minute walk every single morning, it becomes a sustainable habit that yields long-term results. The same applies to English learning. It's the classic story of the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Just 15 minutes of focused, consistent practice every day can lead to remarkable progress over time. This could mean listening to an English podcast on your commute, reviewing flashcards during a coffee break, reading an English article before speech, or even doing a quick lesson on a language app while waiting in line. The key is consistency and habit building. When you make English a daily ritual, even a small one, you're constantly reinforcing what you've learned, keeping your brain engaged with the language and gradually building your fluency. These small, consistent efforts compound over time, leading to significant breakthroughs that sporadic, intense study sessions simply cannot match. It's about keeping the language active in your mind every single day for a more exciting prospect, one that many learners dream of. What about traveling to an English-speaking country for immersive learning? Travel can be an absolutely incredible way to boost your language skills, and I highly recommend it if you have the opportunity. It immediately gives you a concrete, real-world goal to work towards. You're not just learning for the sake of it. You're learning because you'll need to use English to navigate daily life. Order food, ask for directions, make friends, and truly experience the culture. This practical necessity forces you to engage with the language in real, everyday situations, pushing you out of your comfort zone and accelerating your learning in ways that classroom settings simply can't replicate. You're constantly surrounded by the language, hearing authentic accents and slang, and picking up nuances that are hard to learn otherwise. Beyond the linguistic benefits, you get to create unforgettable memories while you're at it. You're building connections, experiencing new cultures, and broadening your worldview, all while enhancing your English. It's a win-win situation. Imagine ordering your favorite coffee in London, navigating the subways of New York, or having a deep conversation with a local in Sydney. These experiences are incredibly enriching and provide unparalleled opportunities for rapid language acquisition. It makes the learning process dynamic, exciting, and deeply personal. It's a truly transformative experience for any language learner, blending education with adventure seamlessly. Part 4. Leveraging online resources and advanced techniques. Of course, we can't forget about the incredible array of online resources available to us these days. The digital landscape for English learning is vast and constantly expanding. We've got podcasts, YouTube channels, language learning apps, interactive websites, so much to choose from, which can sometimes feel a bit overwhelming to navigate. Based on all the material I've explored and my own experience, what really works best in the online English learning world? You know, it genuinely depends on your individual needs and your unique learning style. There's no one-size-fits solution, which is actually fantastic because it means there's something out there for everyone. For those who prefer a more traditional, structured learning approach, resources like the BBC Learning English website and app are absolutely excellent. They offer comprehensive grammar explanations, vocabulary exercises, news-based lessons, and pronunciation guides, all developed by language experts. If you enjoy a gamified approach where learning feels more like playing, Duolingo is fantastic for building vocabulary and basic grammar. Its bite-sized lessons and competitive elements keep you engaged and motivated. Then there's Bisu, which offers a good mix of structured lessons and, crucially, opportunities to interact with native speakers for feedback, providing a more communicative experience. Each of these platforms has its own strengths and weaknesses, so it's about trying a few and finding what truly resonates with you and aligns with your personal learning preferences. One resource that really caught my eye and takes a slightly different approach is Preply. Preply stands out because they emphasize personalized learning through one-on-one tutoring. Unlike self-study apps, Preply connects you with live tutors, allowing for customized learning plans tailored specifically to your goals and weaknesses. This means you can focus on exactly what you need, whether it's conversational fluency, business English, exam preparation, or improving a specific skill like pronunciation. It offers incredible flexibility in scheduling, allowing you to book lessons whenever it suits your timetable, and most importantly, it provides regular, personalized speaking practice with immediate feedback. Having a dedicated tutor who can give you targeted corrections, answer your specific questions, and engage you in authentic conversation makes a huge, tangible difference in your progress. It's incredibly valuable, especially for someone who really wants that tailored experience and direct interaction, which is often the missing piece in self-study. It accelerates learning by providing that human connection and expert guidance that adapts to your evolving needs. Asterisk, asterisk, Part 5. Creative and unconventional techniques. Let's talk about some more creative, perhaps even unconventional, but incredibly effective techniques that can inject a bit of fun and novelty into your learning routine. One tip that genuinely intrigued me was this idea of labeling everyday objects around your house as a way to learn vocabulary. It might sound a little quirky or old-fashioned, but it's surprisingly powerful. Imagine putting a sticky note with fridge on your refrigerator, door on your door, chair on your chair, and so on. Every time you interact with that object, you're visually reinforcing the English word. It's a constant, passive exposure that helps cement vocabulary in your mind by connecting the word directly to the physical object in your environment. It turns your home into a mini language lab. But are there any other unusual but effective techniques like that? Absolutely. One of my favorites, which is a fantastic way to expand your vocabulary naturally and actively, is the Word of the Day Challenge. Every day you choose a new English word that you've never seen before, or one you know but don't actively use. Look up its meaning, understand its context, and then, this is the crucial part. Try to use it in conversations throughout the day, or at least in a few sentences you write for yourself. For example, if your word of the day is ubiquitous, try to use it when you're talking to a friend. Smartphones are pretty ubiquitous these days, aren't they? This active recall and application immediately embeds the word into your active vocabulary. It transforms passive knowledge into usable language. It's a fun and engaging way to expand your vocabulary naturally, making learning an integrated part of your daily routine rather than a separate chore. There was also a lot of emphasis on reading aloud to improve pronunciation. What are my thoughts on that? Well, reading aloud is definitely a great way to practice pronunciation and become more comfortable with the sounds and rhythms of the language. When you read aloud, you're engaging your mouth and vocal cords, physically forming the sounds, which helps build muscle memory for English phonemes. It also forces you to slow down and pay attention to each word, which can improve comprehension. But there are other techniques that can be just as, if not more, effective, especially for fine-tuning your accent and intonation. One such technique, which I highly recommend, is shadowing. Shadowing is a powerful method where you listen to a native speaker. It could be from a movie, a TV show, a podcast, an audiobook, even a YouTube video, and then you try to mimic their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely and simultaneously as you can. You're literally shadowing their speech, speaking at the same time as them. It might feel a little awkward at first, like you're talking over them, but the goal isn't to understand the content perfectly at that moment, but to focus entirely on replicating the sounds, stresses, and flow of the native speaker. This sounds like a challenge, and it is, but it's an incredibly fun and effective way to fine-tune your accent and master those tricky sounds and speech patterns that make English sound natural. It's like having a personal pronunciation coach right there in your ear, guiding you through every syllable and inflection. Shadowing trains your ear to recognize subtle nuances in pronunciation and trains your mouth to produce them, accelerating your progress in sounding more like a native speaker.
Part 6. Conquering Grammar and Listening. Now, let's tackle the formidable grammar beasts. Grammar can be a bit of a challenge and often a source of frustration for many English language learners. I understand that completely. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the rules and exceptions, but it's important to remember that grammar is simply the underlying structure, the set of rules that govern how language works. It's the skeleton upon which the body of English is built. And once you grasp those fundamental rules, you can really start to use them to your advantage, giving your sentences clarity, precision, and natural flow. So, what are some effective ways to improve your grammar skills beyond just memorizing tables? One foundational approach is to take a structured grammar course. This can be an online course, a class at a language school, or even a good grammar textbook that provides clear explanations and progressive exercises. A structured course gives you a really solid foundation in the fundamental elements of English grammar, building from basic sentence structures to more complex tenses and clauses. Another highly effective option is to use online resources like grammar websites and apps. Oh, there are tons of those. Many offer interactive exercises, quizzes, and clear, concise explanations that can help you learn and practice grammar rules in a more engaging and less intimidating way. Websites like Grammarly's Handbook, English Grammar Today from Cambridge Dictionary, or apps like Learn English Grammar from the British Council are fantastic. They allow you to target specific grammar points you're struggling with, practice them repeatedly, and get immediate feedback. So it's not just about memorizing rules from a textbook, but actively applying them and understanding how they function. In real sentences, and of course, there's always the tried and true method of reading and writing extensively, this classic approach truly works wonders. By reading extensively in English, anything from novels and news articles to blogs and social media posts, you'll naturally start to internalize those patterns and structures of the language. Your brain unconsciously picks up on how native speakers construct sentences, how tenses are used in context, and how different clauses fit together. It's like osmosis. The correct grammar seeps into your understanding through repeated exposure. And by writing regularly, whether it's journaling, emailing, participating in online forums, or even just writing short stories, you'll have the invaluable opportunity to put your grammar knowledge into practice. This active production forces you to recall rules, construct sentences, and see how all the pieces of grammar come together. You'll make mistakes, of course, but identifying and correcting them in your own writing is a powerful learning experience. Both reading and writing reinforce each other, creating a holistic approach to grammar mastery. Now, let's talk about listening comprehension. It's such a crucial part of language acquisition, arguably one of the most important. After all, if you can't understand what people are saying, it's really hard to communicate effectively. You might have excellent vocabulary and grammar, but if you struggle to process spoken English, true interaction remains challenging. So, how can we truly improve our listening skills and bridge that gap? One of the most effective ways is to immerse yourself in as much authentic English as possible. And I really want to emphasize the word authentic here. We're talking about listening to how native speakers actually use the language in natural, everyday contexts, not just those often scripted, simplified textbook dialogues designed for learners. This means diving into things like movies, TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube channels, and even live streams. All of that. Start by choosing content that genuinely interests you. If you love comedy, watch English stand-up. If you're into true crime, find English true crime podcasts. When you're interested in the content, your brain is more engaged and learning becomes more enjoyable and less like a chore. Don't be afraid to start with content that's a little bit below your current listening level. It's better to understand most of what you're hearing, building your confidence and gradually increasing the difficulty, rather than struggling with something that's too difficult and getting discouraged. For beginners, try content specifically designed for ESL learners or watch kids' shows which use simpler language. As you progress, gradually move to more complex material. Another incredibly helpful tip is to focus on the overall meaning of what you're hearing rather than getting stuck on every single individual word that you might not understand. It's easy to get frustrated if you miss a word, but often you can infer the meaning from the surrounding context. Try to identify those key ideas and the speaker's main points. It's about seeing the forest for the trees, grasping the bigger picture. Even if some small details are blurry, don't stop the audio every time you hear an unfamiliar word. Just try to keep going and get the gist. You can always go back and look up words later if you need to. And finally, never hesitate to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. In a live conversation, it's completely normal to need to ask questions like, could you repeat that, please? Or what did you mean by word, phrase? Or could you speak a little slower? Native speakers generally appreciate your effort and willingness to learn. It's a great way to clarify misunderstandings, and it's a crucial part of the learning process, demonstrating active engagement and a desire to truly comprehend. The more you practice active listening and seeking clarification, the more rapidly your listening comprehension will improve. Asterisk, asterisk.
Part 7. Sustaining Motivation and Long-Term Success. Wow! This has been an incredibly insightful conversation, truly a deep dive into the practicalities of learning English. We've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from the foundational importance of setting achievable goals and embracing mistakes to mastering vocabulary through creative methods. Your pronunciation with techniques like shadowing, conquering grammar challenges, and boosting your listening comprehension through authentic immersion. Now, as we wrap things up, I'm curious to share my thoughts on what it really takes to succeed in learning English over the long term. I think one of the most important things is to remember that language learning is a journey, not a destination. It's not a race with a clear finish line you cross and then you're done. It's an ongoing process of growth, discovery, and continuous improvement. There will inevitably be ups and downs, moments of exhilarating progress, moments of frustration, when you feel like you're not moving forward, and moments of triumph when something finally clicks. But the absolute key, the non-negotiable ingredient for long-term success, is to stay motivated, keep practicing consistently, and never give up on your goals. It's so easy to get discouraged when you hit a roadblock, when a new grammar point seems impossible, or when you feel like your progress has stalled. But it's crucial to remember that these setbacks are a natural, normal, and even essential part of the process. They're opportunities for reflection and adjustment, not reasons to quit, and one of the absolute best ways to stay motivated, as we've discussed, is to find ways to make learning enjoyable. We've talked about integrating English into your hobbies and interests, whether it's cooking, watching movies, listening to music, playing games, or chatting with friends. When you genuinely enjoy the process, when learning feels less like a chore and more like a passion, it becomes so much easier to stay motivated and keep making progress. Beyond that, it's also incredibly important to celebrate your successes along the way. It's easy to get so caught up in focusing on that ultimate, distant end goal of fluency that we forget to acknowledge and appreciate the smaller, yet significant, progress we're making every day. So, take the time to recognize your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Did you understand a new word in a song? Celebrate that. Did you successfully have a 5-minute conversation without stumbling? Celebrate that. Did you write a grammatically correct paragraph? Celebrate that. These small celebrations reinforce your efforts and provide the positive feedback loop you need to keep going. Another key aspect of success in language learning is to create a supportive environment for yourself. Surround yourself with people who encourage and support your goals. Find a language partner who shares your enthusiasm. Join a study group where you can learn from and motivate each other, and don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it, whether it's from a tutor, a teacher, or a native-speaking friend. We all need a little support and encouragement along the way. Building a community around your learning journey can make an enormous difference in both your progress and your motivation. You are not alone on this journey. And finally, I think it's incredibly important to always remember the why. Why are you learning English? For many, learning English can open up a world of opportunities. It can significantly enhance your career prospects, allowing you to access global job markets and communicate with international colleagues. It can broaden your horizons, enabling you to travel more confidently, understand diverse cultures, and access a vast wealth of information and entertainment. Most profoundly, it can connect you with people from all over the globe, breaking down barriers and fostering genuine understanding and friendships across cultures. It's a truly empowering skill to have, one that enriches your life in countless ways, both personally and professionally. Keep that bigger picture in mind, especially during those challenging moments. This has truly been an incredible deep dive. And I sincerely thank you for joining me on this journey today. For leveling up your English skills, remember, the key to success in learning English is to stay motivated. Keep practicing and never stop exploring and enjoying the language. Your journey is unique, and every step, every word, every conversation brings you closer to your goals. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into English study tips, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our Super English Talks channel for more language learning tips and tricks, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us continue to create valuable content for you. Until next time, happy learning!